Bienvenidos todo el mundo. Baruchim habaim. Bienvenido. It's great to see you all. Thanks for coming out for this really special Shabbat. We're celebrating Shabbat and Father's Day. Also going to celebrate Father's Day. So all those people here who are fathers, or if you had a father, then, or if you still have a father, then you can celebrate Father's Day as well. I'm really excited because I have my favorite tie. I have the tie with my kids on it, Ari and Brandon. And people say, why do you wear that tie? I say, well, I like family ties. and this is my favorite family tie. And I consider everybody here to be part of the family also. So we're all tied together as one family of Jewish people gathered together in synagogues around the world and part of the greater family of humanity. The whole goal of Judaism is to celebrate as one people and help the entire world recognize the kinship of all humanity. And not only that, but also of all living things, all life forms on the planet. We practice something here called Cosmic Judaism. It was coined by somebody you might have heard of. Anyone here of Albert Einstein? He said, the religion of the future will be a cosmic religion. And so we're actually carrying out the prediction of Albert Einstein, who envisioned a type of Judaism he referred to as cosmic religion. What did he mean by that? What he meant was that in primitive times, people thought, God loves me. But these other people who think differently than me, they're going to a bad place. Everybody who thinks like me, we're all loved by God. But these other guys, they're bad news. He envisioned something that's beyond the tribal to the cosmic, where we see the whole cosmos as one. He also envisioned a time, we haven't got there yet, but we're trying, a time when religion would actually be rational and conform to science. That's something, we do that here, but it's exceptionally rare. I do want to explain a little bit about what that means to conform to science, because a lot of people have some misunderstandings about it. Sometimes I'll get up and I'll say something as if it's a fact, and then somebody else has a different point of view, and I've been accused, you're driving them out. You're saying that this is the only way you can believe. Why are you so narrow-minded? Let me just explain. In science, there's a body of knowledge that's recognized as facts. There's another body of knowledge that's recognized as false. And then there's a whole bunch of things that are recognized we don't really know yet. Some people might put different things in different categories. But if I were to say the world is round, I don't need to say, but you know what? If you guys want to believe it's flat, that's good. That's okay. You know, and so similarly, science knows that evolution happened. So when I talk about evolution as a wondrous, incredible, miraculous process that led to all these wonderful species, including us, I don't need to say, but you know, if you want to believe that we got here in 6 days, more power to you. That's not scientific. It's irrational. Does that mean that if you believe that God created us in 6 days, you have to walk out? Of course not. I'm just promoting a type of Judaism based on science. Because for too long, religion has been based on the antithesis. And if you can get someone to believe in absurdity, you can get them to commit an atrocity. There have been too many absurdities, too many atrocities in the name of religion, and it's about time it became rational and compassionate. That's what we do here. Welcome. It's a pleasure to see you. And if I say something that you think is not rational or not scientific, or you have a different opinion, you are always welcome to challenge me right on the spot. You don't have to wait until the service is over, or if you want, you can challenge me to a debate any place. We believe in open communication, debate, and discussion. Now that I got that preliminary part out, I'm going to thank Michelle McCloskey for sponsoring the Oneg Shabbat. And she was kind enough to bring Ariel. I'm real excited to have the two of them here, not just because they're getting married, not just because they're sponsoring the Oneg, and not just because they came from Miami, but there's another reason as well, but I'm not going to tell you yet. You're going to find out. There's something very, very special about them. We're going to begin with Hine Matov in different languages. If you know the Hebrew, you know it means how wonderful it is for all of us to be here together, dwelling in unity. So let's sing in the Hebrew. If you know it, join with me. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים. לה 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 לה. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים. לה 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 לה. Comme roi jaillit doit mufid, anaisha ihuatan wachad, que agradable es unirse en paz celebrando como hermanos. La 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 la. La 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 la. Hine matov, hine matov. La 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 la. Comme merveilleux et magnifique, célébrer comme frères ensemble. Comme merveilleux et magnifique, célébrer comme frères ensemble. All right. And thank you for making the announcement. I appreciate your announcing to everybody to come down. We're now going to continue with the lighting of the Shabbat candles, led for us by Roberta Cooper. Come on down. And I'll give you the mic. We have two candles. Jews are a light to the nations, at least we try to be. The light of reason and the light of love. Put one and not the other, you got a problem. Put them together and you're onto something.
The following words were written by Hannah Shenish, and we read these for this Shabbat. Blessed is the match that is consumed in kindling a flame. Blessed is the flame that burns in the secret depths of the heart. Blessed are the hearts that know when the honor to cease. Blessed is the match that is consumed in kindling a flame. Eloheinu melech haolam, asher tishonu mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahad l'knei shel Shabbat. It is a pleasure to be here with everyone for Shabbat. My family is nowhere near, but I have the temple family, so I used to light the candles at home every week. Now they're just for me, so I light them here or enjoy someone else lighting the candles. We need light and happiness in the world today, as there are many problems. I appreciate Rabbi Silver very much, because any time that I disagree with him, I write him on the email and he answers me the same day, and he is a very busy man. I don't often disagree with him. Anyway, I have 3 sons, 2 intermarried and 1 Orthodox. And if I talk to the Orthodox one and says, you know what the rabbi said, blah, 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 he says, Mom, you better stick with him. You won't find anybody you like better.
Roberta, I feel the same way about you. It's always a pleasure to chat with you. And we have some great discussions. Somebody said, you know, Rabbi, not everybody agrees with everything you say. And I think, thank goodness. Like, what would life be like if everybody agreed with everything that somebody thought? That'd be pretty weird. So it's always fun to exchange views and to do so respectfully. I do recommend, if you can do this, not easy, but if you want, try finding someone who's of a different political party. Try exchanging them views with them amicably. And if you can do that, you're really onto something. That's really a good thing. But I always enjoy our discussions. Roberta thinks very rationally as well. We're going to continue now with the lighting, with the Kiddush. And for that, we have one of the raging grannies, Gloria Stein, who's always up to something. By the way, Gloria can tell you, why do Jewish people wear a talit? I don't know. It's because we have all these fringes, because the Jewish people never hesitates to stand on the fringe of society when necessary to stand up to bullies, oppressors, and autocrats, and to side with the oppressed. That's what this talit is all about.
And I'm not going to say anything funny about the rabbi, but I can only tell you he makes me laugh. So I appreciate him. I'm used to speaking without it. One of the 10 commandments is remember Zachor, the Sabbath day. We understand this commitment to mean that we must declare Shabbat to be holy. The word Zachor is often associated with wine, and thus the mitzvah of sanctifying Shabbat that is done with wine in a blessing called Kiddush. And so we raise our cup of wine and recite the blessing of Kiddush to remember the Sabbath day. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Amen. Down the hatch.
Thank you, Gloria. Thanks for all you do to stir things up around here. You're always a... Okay, well, no, you might want to go in front. There's some cords back here. I've been warned about it. It's always great to see Gloria. Go around. No. They tell us what to do. So Gloria read something about Zachor. Zachor means to remember. It's part of the name Zachariah, which is Zachariah. And Zachor, we have 2 candles. I like to say this because of the light of love and reason. The traditional reason is Zachor v'Shamor. It means to remember, Zachor, and Shamor is to keep or observe. Zachor is also used for the Holocaust. Zachor, never forget. They say Zachor and Shamor, but I say that's not sufficient. It's good to remember, and it's good to observe. But if all we are is observant Jews, then we're wasting our time. And we're desecrating the memory of people who gave their lives to bring us this tradition. It's got to be more than just remembering. It's got to be more than just doing or observing. We shouldn't be just observant Jews. We should be activist Jews, like Lori, getting out there and making this world a better place. So it could be Zachor, Shamor, V'lasot, and to do. We're going to now continue with, the Cheers song. Okay, you probably noticed that Cantor Carol Garrett is nowhere to be found. This is the 2nd week in a row she abandoned me just to be with her family and go up to Alaska. So my voice has certain issues sometimes. It's not as strong as it should be. So I'm going to sing kind of soft, a little a cappella. Bear with me because it doesn't come across that well without accompaniment. But I do have a very special surprise to make up for all my deficiencies. If you stick around to the end, you will hear one of the greatest entertainers in this county, probably in the state, and I am not exaggerating. And he's gonna come up and share a song with us. So don't go anywhere. I got to see if I can find the right key. Making our way in the world today sure can take a lot. So Jews take time on the 7th day to pause and share Shabbat, seeking a righteous, peaceful way. On Shabbat we like to go where everybody seeks Hashem. And don't get hung up on the name. You want to go where you want to go, bask in the glow of the Sabbath candle's flame, where you can know that all are glad you came. Yes, you want to go where people grow instead of just staying the same, where peace and love we joyously proclaim. That's what happens when I don't have the right key. Thank you very much. I'll give my best shot. Thank you. Now we get some participation here, responsive reading. We don't have it. Do we have the screen up there, Arturo? ¿Tú puedes poner las palabras en la pantalla? No problema. Okay. I'll just do the reading on my own. On this Shabbat, we celebrate fathers, grandfathers, great-grandfathers, and all the special men in our lives. For a Jew, every day is Father's Day, not just once a year. In fact, the mitzvah to honor thy father and thy mother is one of the most fundamental commandments of the Torah. This is because our parents are our teachers. Therefore, honoring them is essential to the preservation and continuity of the Torah. from mother, father to son, daughter, generation to generation, Va-Dor, Va-Dor. If you look at the 10 commandments, you got 5 commandments on one side and 5 on the other. And the 5 in the front, they start out with things about God. It's all about God. But then the 5th one is about father and mother, honor your father and mother. And the other one's all about human interactions. So they say, why is the father and mother, what is that doing on God's side? The father and the mother, they transmit the ideals and the beauty of our heritage. That's the secret of the Jewish people, passing on for generation to generation. Some of us might not necessarily believe that there's some supernatural being out there, but we do believe in this. The ideals, the values, the heritage, the beautiful teachings of Judaism have been transmitted down the line from parents to children. So we celebrate Father's Day every day. We also celebrate Father Time, which is precious, and Mother Earth, which is also most precious. We continue with Ma'ariv Arabim. If you don't speak Hebrew, basically, what are you handing this out to people? Okay, cool. All right. The translation you probably don't have. This gives thanks for light and darkness, day and night. You can interpret this as meaning we give thanks for the predictability of the physical laws of nature, which allow life to continue. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, bochei yom v'layla goler or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, u'ma'avir yom u'mevi layla, u'ma'avdil ben yom u'ben layla, Adonai tzvaot shemo, el chai v'kayam tamid yemoch aleinu le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai ha'ma'ariv aravim. I do want to say this. I was remiss. I thank Ruth very much. Ruth just stepped in, and she's doing an awesome job. She's not quite able to follow my baritone because we didn't sit down to practice. That's why I don't have the right keys with her, but we're getting there. But I really appreciate Ruth filling in. She does a great job. I'm not going to tell you how old she is, but I will tell you that I don't think anybody has anything over her, chronologically speaking. And she does indicate that at any age you can innovate, you can do new things, and you have a lot to contribute.
Well, I'm sponsoring a kiddush in August for my 90th birthday.
There you go. Okay, I didn't want to spill the beans. She's sponsoring a kiddush for her 90th birthday, and she's out here doing her thing. So there's hope for all of us at any age. Now I'd like to ask everyone to please stand for the watchword of the Jewish faith called the Shema. Any key you want.
No, you start.
Okay. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuta Leolam Ba'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuta Leolam Ba'ed. The cosmos reflects a creative power, and this power is one. When we perceive this unity in our neshama, a new day has begun. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Please be seated. The English part, I created that as a kind of interpretation of what the Shema is all about in cosmic terms. We continue with V'ahavta. If you don't know the Hebrew, I can summarize this for you very well. The Baruch Hu gave feelings of awe that we feel for creation. The Shema indicates that it's all one, that all living things come from a common source. The universe comes from a singularity, and the goal that we have is to help everyone see that singularity, that we're all one. And if we can do that, what's the result? It's love. That's what love is, and that's what the V'ahavta is. says we should have an attitude of love towards everything when we go to sleep, when we wake up, when we walk by the way, and if we're parents, we should teach it to our children. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavecha v'chol nafshecha v'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha v'lechtecha v'derech uv'shach b'cha uv'kumecha וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך וישריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם. We're going to now continue with me singing Hashkivenu. Hashkivenu is a very ancient song. It reflects our ancestors' belief that there was a Father in the sky, and He protected us when we went to sleep, and He made sure that we would rise up okay, to rise up in peace and to go to sleep in safety. In Cosmic Judaism, we don't ascribe to supernatural beings, but we do believe that natural is super, and we do know that there is a protective shield. It's quite extraordinary. There is a protection when we go to sleep and we wake up. It's called the ionosphere, and it's called the ozone layer. How many of us give thanks in the morning for the ionosphere or the ozone layer? We take it for granted, right? If it wasn't for both of those, cosmic rays would alter our DNA beyond recognition. Ultraviolet would burn us to a crisp. We owe our lives to a protective shield about us. Our ancestors might have had some intuition about it, but the remarkable thing is, with the human mind, we've been able to actually understand how lucky we are. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu lishalom, lishalom, v'hamidenu malkenu lechayim, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, Amen. Sukkot Shlomecha is the sukkah, or the covering. Shalom is peace. Shlomecha is your peace. Cover it with the covering, the sukkah of your peace. You shelter us beneath ozone, O Adonai, through miracles that now are known. You protect earth and sky to keep us safe throughout the night. Earth's heavenly atmosphere blocks cosmic rays, but lets in light, so life can thrive down here. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu lishalom, lishalom, v'hamidenu malkenu lechayim, ufros aleinu sukkah shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukkah shlomecha. Amen. 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 This earthly plane and all the universe is your domain. Life you maintain, as science does explain. The miracle of nature's laws create life and sustain. Amen. Amen. And we thank the staff here at the Heritage for adjusting our air, for giving us all these wonderful accommodations, and for caring for us like supernatural beings to make our life comfortable here. Next we have the Avot ve'Imahot. Used to be just the Avot, meaning the fathers. We used to just give thanks for fathers. Now we've come a long way, baby. We realize that mothers are kind of responsible for everything. We give great thanks for our mothers as well. Interesting thing about the Hebrew, which you may know, in Hebrew, how do we form a plural for a masculine noun? Anybody know? A masculine noun. You have sefer, book, sefarim. You add im at the end of it. Yom, yamim. It's always im, that's the masculine. The feminine ending is ot. Ot. But the word for father, which you would think that's got to be the most masculine word of all, the plural is avot. It's a feminine ending. Why would that be? You can all speculate. The crafters of the Hebrew language didn't explain it. It evolved over time. But I like to think that fathers should have a nurturing, soft side and be able to reflect the best of both genders. That's what we need in fathers. So we read the Avot. If you'd like, if you're comfortable doing so, you can please stand. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el, Hagadol, Hagibor, v'Hanora El Elyon, Omer Chasadim Tovim v'Konei Hakol, v'Zocher Chasdei Avot. There's that word Zocher again. Remembers the chesed, the righteousness of Avot, of our fathers, v'Imahot, and our mothers. Umevi geula livnei v'nehem l'man shemo b'hava, melech ozer u'moshiach u'magen. Baruch atah Adonai, magen Avraham v'ezrat Sarah, atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yahalalucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. It means that this creative spirit, this creative power that's in all, transcends all and unites all. It's sacred, it's holy, and it's within us. Please be seated. All right, now I write songs for all occasions. So I wrote a song. Nothing left. Yeah, I know. I wanted to be able to sing this song because I wrote this song for my dad. So my dad's parents came from Eastern Europe, and they spoke Yiddish mostly, which is known as the Mama Lashon, the mother tongue, because the father couldn't really get a word in edgewise. So it's the mother tongue. I wrote this to one of my favorite songs, Cats in the Cradle. You know that song? Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. You know, usually Sharon's here. She takes care of everything, but Sharon's not here. But we have Arturo. Thank you very much, Arturo. He's putting us on the map. He's conveying this by Zoom. You know why we use Zoom, right? Because we want to exhume the heritage of our fathers and resume all over the world. So I wrote this song for my dad. It's pretty long, so I'm not going to sing all of it, but I'll try to sing some of the good verses. Well, my dad was born just the other day. His folks had just arrived in the USA. Back in Eastern Europe, the Jews faced pogroms. They worked very hard, but were just tossed crumbs, so they risked their lives to cross the sea to raise a family in a land where they could be free. Well, my dad's in the cradle at the Silver home, lavished with love and showered with shalom. His folks speak Romanian, Polish, and Russian, but they love their Mama Lashon. They love their Mama Lashon. Well, his dad was a tailor, a man of the cloth. He was smitten with Adele, so he did betroth. He was a cantor who could sing every prayer, who settled in Wilmington, Delaware. And before you knew it, they had a son, and my dad's life had begun. His life, it had begun. In scholastic pursuits, Sam showed progression, but our country was plagued by the Great Depression. He had a paper route, and he sold women's shoes, but what he was all about is serving fellow Jews. So before you knew it, this wonderful guy was ordained as a rabbi. Well, Sam's in college, and he sent money to his folks. He aspired to gain knowledge and loved to tell jokes. He also loved to give a homily when he studied at HUC. Well, I'm not going to get through very much of this because I get a little too emotional singing this song, but I'll just sing you this line if I can get through it. During World War II, many lives were lost, and our people suffered through the Holocaust. Sam could have stayed home where it was safe and warm, but instead he donned our nation's uniform. In the army he saw horrific scenes in the violent Philippines. I never make it through that song, but I will say this. We celebrate the greatest generation tonight. Our parents, grandparents, who gave us our freedom, our liberty, heritage. My dad was too old. He didn't have to go to the war, but he was a pacifist, a confirmed pacifist. I never heard him raise his voice in my life. And he never disciplined. He just showed us by example what to do. And we did it. So we celebrate the greatest generation tonight. Okay, let's see where we are now. Thanks. Thank you. In honor of that generation. We now have a song that I've altered somewhat. Most songs I haven't left alone because this is called Oseh Shalom. It's asking God to create peace for us. We don't have to do anything. We're just going to sit here and God's going to do it for us. But in Cosmic Judaism, we believe that there's godliness or a special Holy Spirit within all of us, and God's within us, and it's within everything. And so instead of saying, God, you do it, God, you make peace, we say, let us make peace. Instead of Oseh Shalom, Na'aseh Shalom. Na'aseh Shalom bimromav, Hu na'aseh Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'yemru, imru, amen. Na'aseh Shalom, Na'aseh Shalom. Shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Na'aseh shalom, na'aseh shalom. Shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Na'aseh shalom, na'aseh shalom. Shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. Na'aseh shalom, na'aseh shalom. Shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. All right, now we have a chance for silent meditation. We're going to take some of the beautiful words that we've been hearing from our tradition and try to make them come real within our lives. So let us think how we can encapsulate the beautiful light of love and of reason and the sweetness of the wine. How can we make our lives influenced by these symbols so that the ritual will be converted into the spiritual? Each of us will do that in their own fashion. We have a few moments of silent meditation. Now we're going to mention the names of those who are ailing in hopes that they might receive a refuah shlema, a complete restoration to good health. Sharon Babbitt, Dr. Stephen Berkowitz, Rita Elias, Bill Field, Donna Field, Laura Gallagher, Sherry Glass, Nadine Herbst, Gary Herman, Carol Kahn, Kendra Kurse, Ann Kritzer, Gloria Lichtenberg, Dr. Sudhir Nair, David Notiff, Marilyn Paul, Laura Perlman Devons, Ira Phillips, Vivian Pronin, Bernie Rosen, Susan Rosenberg, Stanley Rosenwasser, Miriam Sivak, Jacob Viner, Douglas Volan, Jordan Volan, Naomi Volan, and Sheila Winston. Anybody have any other names you want to add? Yes. Yes? Anybody else? Go ahead. Oh. Thank you. Oh, okay. Yes? Anybody else? Yes? Thank you. Let us add the oppressed peoples and countries all over, the women of Iran and Ukraine, Russia, and let's include our ailing planet Earth in our prayers, and let's commit to try to make all of them see a refuah shlema, complete restoration to good health. You want to try this one, see if you can get in my key? Mi sheberach avotenu mikor habracha lemotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mekor habracha levoltenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Okay, now we do have a very special moment for us here. We have one of my favorite activities. Tonight we're having a conversion. We have two amazing people who are going to get married and in Oregon. And before that happens, Michelle is going to convert to Judaism right here in this very spot on this very night. So it's really exciting for me. Let me tell you why it's especially exciting, okay? There's a lot of different types of attorneys. Somebody once said to me, "Are you a criminal attorney?" I said, "You're repeating yourself." A lot of attorneys don't have such a good reputation. There are some attorneys, I can assure you, who go into the field for all the right reasons. I might get choked up here too. But people who do animal rights law, these are dedicated people. These are people, I can say this also, all their clients are innocent. That takes a heart to take a law degree, to apply it to help truly the voiceless. Our species have done all types of horrible things to animals, and we keep them in our home, but we don't take responsibility for all the other animals that we've displaced, etc. So Ariel is an animal rights attorney. Michelle, who's converting, I have so much regard for her as well. She's a nurse oncologist. I know what that's like because I've suffered through some of the worst ravages of cancer, and I've been in a state of body and mind where you probably wouldn't want to be around me. I come across pretty happy-go-lucky here, but there's things that happen to the human body, as you know, that are really tough. And working with that day in and day out, and keeping a cheerful smile on your face and being encouraged to others, that's a tough job. That takes a great heart. So the two of them are doing wonderful things on their own. Now they're going to work together. Now they're going to join forces to make this world better, create a beautiful life for themselves, for their families, and for others. And so we're going to have Michelle come up, and she's going to, Ariel, come on up too. All right, she's going to recite the Shema for us, and then she's going to be given a Hebrew name, which I will explain. So this is Michelle McCloskey and Ariel. I'll give you the microphone. Here you go. You can now address the jury. Jewry.
Thank you so much, Rabbi, and thank you all for welcoming us to the congregation. We really appreciate it. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
How about a hand? All right, that was beautiful. Now, we are going to give her the Hebrew name of Teva. Teva means nature, and Michelle explained that she feels closest to spirituality and a higher power surrounded by nature. Nature is the best evidence of the existence of a power greater than ourselves, and the desecration and destruction of nature is the worst form of blasphemy. If there was some mind behind all of this who fashioned this, that mind wouldn't care if you insulted him, demeaned him, didn't believe in him. But if you mess with his creation, that would probably be a problem. So we need to do a better job of trying to not desecrate and blaspheme this creative power. Now, is there anything either of you would like to say to the jury at this time? You want to share any comments, any thoughts, any hopes, whatever? I didn't warn them about that. We always put people on the spot.
No, just that we're really appreciative of everything that Rabbi has done for us with the conversion and the teachings. Extremely helpful with the journey, and thank you all as well.
Everything that Michelle said, but also it's been amazing for us to find this community and to find a brand of Judaism that we really believe in. So thank you.
It's great to have you. Thank you. They came from Miami, and I figured, well, they came all that way. They deserve a song, right? So, just happened to put together a song to one of my favorite melodies. Wrote it kind of quickly, but I think I can read my own handwriting. Let me tell you my story about a gal named Michelle who plans to marry her life partner, Ariel. They are filled with compassion and very sweet, which is why they love animals and do not eat meat. To the human body, cancer is a curse, but it's a blessing to have a great oncological nurse. Michelle helps people deal with the scourge of cancer until the cure is found and we have the answer. She's excited to share her joyous life journey with a dedicated, devoted animal rights attorney. These two wonderful people share a love that's divine, not only with each other, but with their favorite canine. Luna. But with Luna, their canine. Tonight, Michelle will undergo conversion. This decision was easy and required no coercion. She lives Jewish values of kindness and love, and she works to shape a world that her prophets dreamed of. Now it's time to say good luck to our groom and bride. We know that they'll be happy with each other by their side. You're all invited back again, whenever this may be, to celebrate the birth of their first baby. Y'all come back now, you hear? Thank you. Congratulations. I think your uncle's doing the ceremony or somebody, right? I'll send him the lyrics, and if he wants, he can share the song with everybody. All right, now we have the pièce de résistance. We have the Torah reading. For the Torah reading, we do a blessing. We march it around. We have some noisemakers here. So if anybody wants, oh, wait, I take it back. Alan Rubenstein, come on up. Alan's carrying the Torah around, and Helen Pasick is going to carry, we have two Torahs. And if anybody wants to make some noise with these guys, I picked it up at the Renaissance Festival. You ever go there? They got a lot of good stuff. Go ahead, take it away. from a passage called Shelach, and it's a very interesting story with an important message. But before we read the Torah, I got a yad here. We're not supposed to touch it with our hands because it's too sacred. We're going to do the Torah blessing. Here we consider the Torah sacred not because it was written by a divine, infallible being. It was not. There's errors in it, primitive notions in it, but it was our first effort to try to figure out what was going on in the field of medicine, history, science. We didn't have good tools back then, but we did have prophets who formed a vision of what this world could be like if we got our act together and lived up to glittering ideals. For that reason, we cherish this Torah. We cherish the Torah because our ancestors gave their lives and suffered much to preserve a dream. And so while we reject many of the teachings and the scientific errors in it, we embrace the first step and we celebrate the fact that we have evolved and changed over time to grow more and more in wisdom. That's why we cherish this Torah. Baruch hu et Adonai hamorach, Baruch Adonai hamorach leolam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol hamim, ve'natan lanu et Torato, Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen. Jews are coming out from Egypt. They're just on their way, and they get up to, they're getting close to Canaan. So Moses sends out some scouts. The Torah has 3 different versions. In one, it's God's idea. Then in the other, it's Moses' idea. And then the other one, Joshua comes up with the idea. But in any event, they send out some scouts to check out the land. 12 scouts, 12 from the 12 tribes. Our jury system of 12 people is based on this. Because from this story, they figured if you have 12 people, that's a good cross-section of the society. And so that's how we get the jury system with 12 people. There's a lot of other stuff in the Torah that help to lead to our legal system. ויבואו משה ואל אהרון ואל כל עדת בני ישראל אל מדבר פרן קדשה. And the scouts returned to Moses and Aaron to a place called Paran Kadashah. וישובו אותם דיבת ואת כל העדה ויאום את פרי הארץ. They brought a report back to them, and they brought back some evidence. They brought back some pari. Remember pari? Borei pari, the fruit, haaretz, of the earth. They brought back some of the fruit from the earth. ויספחו לו ויאמרו באנו אל הארץ אשר לנו יתנו וגם זבת חלב ודבש. Well, here's the good news. We went to the place, and it really is truly a land of milk and honey. V'zeh priyah, and check it out. Here's some of the fruit. Efes ki oz ha'am hayata ba'aretz v'ta'arim v'tzarot gedolot me'od v'gam yaldei anak ra'inu sham. Here's the bad news. These guys are giants. They're tall. They're powerful. And they're like the legendary children of Anak. Back in Genesis, they talked about gods and humans interbreeding, a foreshadowing of Christianity. Just one of those things that most people don't realize is in the Bible. And these guys were like supermen. And he says, these guys look like these supermen, these children of Anak. Imnanu Yoshev Ba'aretz HaNegev V'HaChiti V'HaYebusi V'HaEmori Yoshev Bahar V'HaKna'ani Yoshev Al-Hayam. And they talked about all the different people, and one was in the mountains and the sea, and they explained who was dwelling where. Va'al ha'yalden v'ya'as Kalev et ha'am el Moshe v'yomer alo na'ale v'yarashnu ota ki yachol nuchal la. So they give a bad report, like the people are really freaking out, until Caleb speaks up. By the way, Caleb is related to the word Kelev, which means dog. So I know you guys like dogs. You got a dog at your house, Luna. Caleb is from dog, and we believe that it's astronomical because people looked up in the sky and they saw a figure that looked like a dog, and it became like a celestial thing. But so Caleb went out with Joshua. He was part of the 12, and he disagreed with the prevailing notion. And he said, no. He said, yeah, the people are tall, they're tough, they're powerful, but we can do this because we're able to accomplish this. And he said, Yahol nuchal la. In English, we shall overcome. That is the source of the civil rights movement. We shall overcome. People thought it was impossible, and they looked back to Jewish scripture, and they said, no, if you're on a divine mission, you can accomplish this. V'anashim asher alu imo amru lo nuchal ba'alot al ha'am ki chazaku mimenu v'yitziu dabak ha'aretz asher taru ota. And they said, the rest of them, the 10 others, Joshua also gave a good report, but the 10 others said, no, these guys are wrong. These guys, it's a fruitless endeavor. We might as well go back to Egypt. We're in serious trouble. El b'nei Yisrael lemor ha'aretz asher avarnu ba la'tur ota eretz achilet yoshveha hu v'chol ha'am asher hayinu nuftucha anshem yidot. No, even the land it's a tough place. It's not hospitable for people. The natives there are too tough. Let's go back to Egypt. I won't read the rest of it. I'll just tell you what happens. The people start crying. They're wailing. They're complaining. They're bitter towards Moses. And they say, why did you take us out to this God-forsaken place to die out here? We'd be better off in Egypt. We had free room and board, and we had 100% employment as slaves. You shouldn't have taken us out of here. Just reminds us, my friends, that most people, a lot of people, would rather stay stuck in enslaved to bad habits than to face the unknown and to liberate themselves. They imagine, they embellish what the fears of the unknown. And there's a very interesting passage here as well. It says, when we looked at these people and they saw us, they must have thought that we were like grasshoppers. And that's how we appeared to ourselves. You understand what happened? They doubted themselves. It wasn't just that the other people thought that they couldn't accomplish it. They doubted themselves, and they were finished. That teaches us something very, very important. Now today, modern Jews are ashamed, embarrassed, and repudiate that the Jews should go in and take somebody else's land by force. So that part of the story we reject. We don't celebrate that. The Orthodox do. God told them to do it, so okay, so we murder a few people or commit genocide, no big deal. Well, it is a big deal. Modern Jews reject it, but we do accept some of the lessons of this story. If you believe in yourself and you don't trivialize your own ability, you can accomplish great things and you can enter your promised land. Blessing after the Torah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu torat emet v'chai olam nata betochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen. So there's the old joke about God telling the Jewish people, you know, I got good news for you. I'm going to take you to a land filled with milk and honey. It's going to be beautiful. It's your promised land. And they're like, wow, this sounds great. He says, well, don't get too excited. You haven't met the neighbors yet. The neighbors have been pretty tough. We have these stories in the Torah that don't make us look too good either. Historians aren't really sure what happened. They don't really believe, well, they know that in the biblical stories, God orders genocide against people who live in Canaan. Because God said these people are worshiping the wrong God and they're going to corrupt and pervert you. You have to purify this land by purifying it of the people who live there. This is an odious, horrible concept. And as I say, the Orthodox accept it as God's word. That's fine. Because if he said to do it, go ahead. But we don't. The thing is, though, that we don't think that really happened. There was conflict there. There was a lot of tribes wandering in and out of places, but it didn't happen that way. But we look back at the story as an example of people fighting for a good cause, and they can overcome. Yahonu chala, we shall overcome. But I want to talk to you also about what I think is a very important part of the story. 10 scouts said it's impossible, it can't be done. 2 of them said it can be done. In Judaism, we Jews, we've been in the minority a long time. We're constantly believing things that nobody else believes. You know, in Europe, when we were living in ghettos and pogroms and everything else, they believed in the divine right of kings. That meant that the king was appointed by God. It's a very convenient concept if you happen to be the king. And it's also very convenient if you happen to work with the church. So the church is telling people that, yes, they were appointed by God. I know, because I'm the God's representative. And if the king is protecting them, that's a nice racket you got going there. And if you tell people, give us a lot of money and you'll get to heaven, that's even better. And if you prevent them from translating the Bible into English and keep them ignorant, you got a real good con game going there. Do you know that Tyndale had the audacity to translate the Bible into English so that people could finally figure out what was going on? And they burned the Bibles and they chased them all over the continent and they killed him. They executed him. We thought that book banning went out back then. It didn't. Okay, they're still trying to ban certain books that they don't like because they want to enforce, again, this Christian theocracy where the government and the religion take over and you don't have abortion rights anymore, you can't read certain books or whatever. Not everybody accepts my version of events, but many of us are very scared about this tendency that we see to combine fundamentalist religion, and it's not just Christianity, fundamentalist religion with the government. It's dangerous. And I'll also say, they don't represent most Christians. Yeah, my dad was the first rabbi to do interfaith weddings with Christian clergy. We work with Christians all the time. It's not Christianity that's the problem. It's a literal approach to it, just like a literal approach to Judaism is unhealthy also. I'm an environmental attorney. I went to the Chabad. I said, we're doing an environmental action. Would you like to join with us? We want to go protect the environment. I can quote you on it. It happened about 10 years ago. I still remember. The environment! It's all in God's hands. You don't have to worry about that. And so I said to him, I said, next time you're praying to God, tell him he did a really good job creating this place, but his maintenance leaves a little to be desired. Okay, so the thought that we should leave everything in the hands of the divine, it has nothing to do with Jewish versus Christian or Muslim. Just the thought that we should leave things in the hands of the divine and we have no responsibility, that's infantile. That's juvenile. In the early days of human interaction, of human understanding, we didn't know how anything happened. We never heard of the germ theory of disease. We figured somebody got sick, God did it. We never heard of plate tectonics. There's an earthquake, God did it, and he's pissed off. There's lightning, he's mad. And so we were scared, we were fearful, and we wanted to figure out how can we learn? How can we learn his ways? And we just blindly were obedient. And there were some ministers who were all too happy to take advantage of that fear and to become wealthy and manipulate people off of that. Well, you know, there's parents who are like that too. There's parents who teach their kids out of fear. If you do this, I'll hit you, or I'll whack you, or I'll smack you, or I'll punish you. I'm going to do these horrible things to you. They believe that the only way you can get a kid to respond is with fear. Well, I know, I never feared my dad. My dad just said, do this because it's the right thing to do. He was the example. We wanted to be like him. That's how you teach. That's what the best parents do. They don't tell the kids what to do. They show them. And what they also do is they implant in their children the ability to self-regulate, to want to be good people, to want to do the right thing, to get a thrill, a joy out of being compassionate, out of being loving people, out of giving back, out of using your mind. They don't tell their kids what to think. They tell them how to think. The early days of Judaism wasn't like that. It was based on fear. Sadly, my friends, many people still approach religion that way. They don't think for themselves. They're still looking for the daddy in the sky to take care of them. And it can happen in any religion. And if you're looking for a deus ex machina, for God to come down from the sky and save you, well, Elie Wiesel had something to say about that. Elie Wiesel understood that philosophy. The Nobel Prize-winning Holocaust survivor. He said that when he was in Europe, the rabbis told their flock, if there's any problems that we're having now, just pray to God. He'll take care of it. He's watching over us. And the reason why this is happening, the reason why we're suffering and we're in oppression, we're not praying hard enough, and we're not following God's rules. Keep kosher. Do all these rituals, and everything will be good. Go to temple. And when they went to temple, they were burned alive in the temple. And the God that they were worshiping, that they thought was going to save them, went up in smoke in the ashes of Auschwitz and was buried in the forest of Va-Dor, along with the bodies of Jewish people. The ones who survived. Even if you fought back, whatever you did, your chances were minimal. But you had a better chance if you fled or fought back, like Tuvia Bielski, who said, freedom begins with an act of defiance. And that's why the Jews have always defied authorities, because we know when everybody says these kings were appointed by God and they're torturing us and doing these horrible things and saying these crazy things, we knew that's not true. We challenge. We're a thorn in the side of authority figures. We now have the opportunity, my friends, to practice a mature religion, not based out of fear, but based out of love, based out of awe and wonder, based out of reason. And I can't think of too many people who articulated it better than Albert Einstein, who said that science without religion is lame and religion without science is blind. And I'll finish with this also from Carl Sagan, someone else who wrote Cosmos, had an incredible sense of wonder and love for science and for religion and for the environment. And he said this, in some respects, science has far surpassed religion in delivering awe. How is it that hardly any major religion has looked at science and concluded, this is better than we thought? The universe is much bigger than our prophets said, grander, more subtle, more elegant. God must be even greater than we dreamed. Instead, they say, no, no, no. My God is a little God, and I want him to stay that way. A religion, old or new, that stressed the magnificence of the universe as revealed by modern science might be able to draw forth reserves of reverence and awe hardly tapped by the conventional faiths. Sooner or later, such a religion will emerge. It's emerging here. It's emerging elsewhere. Let us join forces so that religion will be transformed in the way that Sagan and Einstein and the prophets dreamed of, so that it becomes a source of protecting the planet and all its inhabitants, and becomes a source that builds bridges of understanding and knocks down walls of separation. And walls of separation they're not knocked down by uniformity. We want unity, but not uniformity. Community, but not conformity. We don't have to agree on everything. We just have to agree to build a better world. Shabbat Shalom. Happy Father's Day. Now we are going to continue with, we have a special treat here. Sunrise, Sunset by Kathy Martin with Ruth.
Is this the little girl I carry? Is at play. I remember growing older. When did she get to be a beauty? When did she grow to be so tall? Wasn't it yesterday when they were small? Sunrise, sunset, sunrise, sunset, swiftly flow the years. One, too high, Ruth. Can you bring it down? Excuse me 1 minute. Let's start it from the beginning. Is this the little girl I carry? Is this the little boy I play? I don't remember growing older.
When did she get to be a beauty? When did she grow to be so tall? Wasn't it yesterday when they were small? Sunrise, everybody, sunset, sunrise, sunset, swiftly fly the years. One season following another, laden with happiness and tears. Sunrise, sunset, sunrise, sunset, swiftly fly the years. One season following another, laden with happiness and tears. Sorry for the change in key.
I know, it is. It's harder for Ruth. Ruth is very flexible. She's able to adjust her keys. Thank you very much. That was really good. That reminds me of a parody that I sang for the county commission, which they didn't really appreciate very much. I was protesting as one of their developments with the environmental coalition that I founded, and I don't remember all the verses, but I kind of remember the refrain. It went like this: they're paving over the agricultural reserve. I've been fighting that for about 30 years. So I sang in front of the commission. I got 3 minutes. High rise, I'm upset. High rise, I'm upset. Swiftly go the trees. One project following another, with developers doing as they please. I don't remember all the other verses, but I had a good time. But I do have to tell you, they were not music lovers. They did not appreciate it. Well, we're getting close to the end here. We're going to go to the Aleinu. If you want, you can stand for this one too. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות, ולא שמענו כמשפחות אדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהן, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמן, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. Please remain standing. We now have the Kaddish. We say the Kaddish in honor of our fathers and our mothers and others. Our parents left behind for us a GPS, a guiding parental spirit. If we get rid of all the cacophony and listen, we'll hear their voice giving us direction, helping us find our way to get to the proper destination. Before we read the Kaddish, we mention the names of those who have recently been summoned from us: Harold Feynman, Jason Franks, Louis Greenberg, Faith Pear, Bobby Safe. Also those the anniversary of whose departure occurs these days: Carl Bain, Abe Berenson, Jerry Kamina, Robert Corman, Andrea Donner, Libby Fowlick, Helen Folkman, Hyman Folkman, Leonard Gilmar, Francis Goldman, Ray Herman, Edward Horowitz, Jack Kraft, Alan Krauss, Bonnie Larson, Robert Leaf, Stephen Leibovitz, Jerome Migdal, Stanley Millman, Leon Nachmayas, Philip Paritsky, Molly Pasick, Rose Radak, Estelle Rose, Sylvia Rosenwasser, Dorothy Rothschild, Alvin Marvin Salzer, Lawrence Salzer, Simon Salzer, Molly Shipper, Herman Shanoff, Jess Silver, Jack Sperber, Lillian Taylor, Milton Werby, and Bessie Winston. Anybody else? Any other names? Thank you. May their memory be a blessing. Yes, go ahead. Thank you. Anybody else? Go ahead. Yes, you want to come up? What's his name? What is it? Selim Montague. His name means peace. Selim. Very nice. Okay, remember him as well. We can make our parents' memory a blessing if we do our best to live up to the ideals and hopes and dreams they saw in us and worked with us to bring out in us. So let's hope to be a way to allow their memory to be a blessing as we read the Kaddish. Yiskadal, Yiskadash Shemeh Rabbah, B'yomah, Yivrach Ruseh, V'yamlich Ma'chuseh. V'chayachon v'yomechon v'chayeducho beis Yisrael. V'agalav v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehesh Shmei Rabbah mivarach l'olam omei omaya. Yisparach v'yistabach v'yispoah v'yischuma v'yisnaseh. V'yisadar v'yisalev v'yisalal Shemei d'kodeshah b'rechu. Le'elam inkor b'rachasa v'shirasa. Tuishbechasa v'nechamasa. Dam yachon v'yomah v'imru amen. Yehesh Shlam Rabbah min Shmaya v'chaim. Aleinu v'al Yisrael v'imru amen. Useh shalom b'imromav. Uyaseh shalom aleinu v'al Yisrael v'imru amen. The announcements, we welcome everyone to Va-Dor. Everyone is welcome to be with us. Yeah, there's no dues involved. There's non-mandatory. We ask you to support us if you can, but there's no dues. The only dues we really enforce is do justice, do kind things, do good deeds. Those are the dues that we really like. We have Touch of Torah on Tuesday night. We have Shabbat here every Friday at 7:30. Luncheon with Women of Shekhinah at Terra Fiamma in Delray, June 25 at 12:30. See somebody here, they'll tell you about it. Look for us on social media. We just put together an organization called Protect, Progressive, Resolute Organizations Together Enthusiastically Combating Tyranny. It's a coalition of Protect Democracy, coalition of animal rights groups, environmentalists, gun control advocates, abortion rights groups, people who care about education. We're all joining forces. Get on our website and you can be part of this force. And we're going to go out and try to protect the ag reserve and do a lot of other good things. We do have now a final, I'm going to forego the final benediction. I've said enough already. I want to sing the greatest national anthem, Hatikva, the Hope, and then we're going to have Jimmy C. come up, and he is the entertainer I told you about. So please join with me in the national anthem of Israel, Hatikva. Kolot balevav pnima nefesh Yehudi homiya ulfate mizrach kadima ayin letzion sofia od lo avda tikvatenu תקווה שנות 2000 להיות עם חופשי בארצנו בארץ ציון בירושלים להיות עם חופשי בארצנו בארץ ציון בירושלים. Please be seated. You know, I'll take it back. I was pretty choked up tonight. Mostly I was thinking about my dad, who founded this temple and taught me what I know. I just want to share with you a quick story. He said there were 3 rabbis discussing, how do you know when the new day starts? Because you have to know when it starts to know when to do your morning prayers. One of them said, when you can from like 20 feet away distinguish blue from purple, that's the beginning of a new day. Another said, no, it's when you can see the trees on the horizon. That's the beginning of a new day. But then the 3rd rabbi said, you got it wrong. When you can see the face of a friend in the eyes of a stranger, then you know a new day has begun. That's from my dad. He had a lot of pearls of wisdom, but that was one of them. Jimmy C., come on up. Jimmy's going to do, I don't know what he's going to do. All I know is it's going to be really good. And then we had the oneg. Take it away. Jimmy helped with the sound system. He helps us in a lot of ways. We are very, very grateful to him.
I'd like to say hello to everybody. Thank you for having me. I come for visits, and Rabbi Barry just inspires me so much. I learn so much even at this ripe old age of, this, I had a request to do this song, and I had a lot of other requests, but I'm staying anyway. I see if I can do this. Let me just see if it'll. All right, we'll try this song. When all the world is a hopeless jumble, and the raindrops tumble all around, heaven opens a magic lane. You can almost see it. When all the clouds darken up the skyway, there's a rainbow highway to be found, leading from my window pane to a place behind the sun, just a step beyond the rain. Yeah. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me. Where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. Hey. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly, birds fly over the rainbow. Why can't I? I was a professional dancer for many years. I was in a group called the Chip and Wales. It was a little interlude. Somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly, birds fly over the rainbow. Why can't I? If happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow, if happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow, why, oh, why can't I? Look out, here comes the bluebirds. Thank you.
What a way to end it. When I hear his voice and his enthusiasm, I think we can overcome. He reflects that indomitable spirit that we have within our faith and within all the different traditions. Thank you very much. Jimmy C. is an international star, and we're really lucky to have him here. That concludes our service. We're now going to have some oneg come out and celebrate with Michelle and Ariel. Thank them for sponsoring the oneg. Thank you very much for being here with us on this Friday night. It was great being with you on Father's Day. And get involved, all right? We need everybody working together. Thank you. Shabbat shalom. Oh, yeah. I guess so. Yeah, that'd be good. Thank you. Shabbat shalom. Nice to see you. Thank you very much. Shabbat shalom. Doing great. How are you doing?